America has now officially entered the Israel-Iran war. In a stunning escalation, the United States launched direct airstrikes on three of Iran's top nuclear sites, and especially the most crucial Fordo site. It targeted Fordo. America targeted Natanz and Isfahan. The strike came in on the 21st of June night, with US President Donald Trump personally announcing the successful operation. And at the heart of this attack was Fordo, Iran's most fortified uranium enrichment site, buried deep under the rock, by some accounts 90 meters deep. B-2 bombers, B-2 Spirit bombers dropped bunker busters, GBU-57 bunker buster bombs. These are 30,000 pounds, 5,600 pounds of explosive, special alloy casing, a steel alloy casing that drills a hole once it hits the target, penetrates several feet deep, and then explodes several meters deep. They also used 30 Tomahawk cruise missiles to target Natanz and Isfahan. US President Donald Trump hailed the mission as a spectacular military success. He claimed the sites were utterly destroyed. He warned Tehran of even more severe action if Tehran does not back down. Iran, of course, is furious, calling it a brutal attack, and has threatened retaliation across the region, including strikes on the United States bases, oil and shipping lanes. They've also blamed the IAEA, or the International Atomic Energy Agency. Israel celebrated the move. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called the bombing a courageous decision that will alter the course of history. The United Nations is alarmed, calling the situation a perilous escalation that could spiral into a full-blown regional war. This is no longer just Israel versus Iran. America is now directly in this war, and the world is watching. Now, joining me on this special broadcast is Asher Friedman, former Israeli strategic affairs analyst and an executive director of the Misgav Institute of National Security, who joins us from Jerusalem. Asher, how do you, Mr. Friedman, how do you view the US bombing and Israel's threat of retaliation? And apparently Haifa has just been targeted.
Thank you. This is a historic day for the fight against terror, a historic day for the fight of democracies against radical regimes. This is a historic day for all who are seeking a stable and secure future for the Middle East. By striking Fordo and the other nuclear sites today, the United States didn't start World War III. The United States prevented World War III. This is a war that Israel is an operation that Israel began. Israel degraded, dismantled Iran's nuclear and ballistic missile program. And this morning, President Trump, or last night, President Trump took the historic step of joining this operation and destroying the capabilities of Iran that threatened not just Israel, but the entire Middle East and the entire free world.
You look at it as a massive strike that prevents World War III. Iran looks at it as massive escalation and a violation of international law. Iran is not only striking back at Israel, but is also threatening to strike at US interests. Do you fear massive, are you apprehensive about escalation, massive escalation now?
Iran was the one violating international law as it was advancing at accelerated speed its illegal nuclear weapons program. It was threatening to destroy death to America, death to Israel, threatening its neighbors. Yes, we are concerned. We're taking precautions. We're listening to the home front. We've seen a number of hits this morning, and we're praying for the welfare of all those who were injured. But I think that even Iran, even the so-called supreme leader, maybe we should start calling him the little leader, the so-called supreme leader of Iran understands that if he attacks American interests, President Trump, the United States, will respond in a devastating manner. I think it's much more likely that they will continue to attack Israel. Israel will continue to defend itself, and it will launch strikes against America, but they will be more symbolic to save the last shreds of the regime's dignity. I don't think even this regime wants to start a full-fledged fight with the United States.
In your appreciation, why is it that after 10 days of Israeli strikes on Iran, Tehran still has the capability to strike and strike deep inside Iran, whether it's Tel Aviv, Haifa, or by some accounts a couple of days earlier in Beersheba in the southern part of your country, sir.
Let's be realistic. Iran is a very large country with thousands of ballistic missiles. It's been building its missile and nuclear and military program and capabilities for decades. The question should be opposite. How is it that after 4 days, Israel achieved total aerial dominance over Iran? How is it that Iran now, even though its plan was to launch 1,000 ballistic missiles at Israel, is unable to launch more than a few dozen? How is it that Israel has been able to destroy 40-50% of Iran's missile launchers? Of course, it's going to take time until we can completely dismantle Iran's ballistic missile capability. Iran will probably always have the ability to fire one missile here, one missile there, but Israel's accomplishments to date in such a short time have been almost unbelievable.
Is there an apprehension, Mr. Friedman, before I bring in our other guests into this broadcast, is there an apprehension that there would be a massive escalation? Either the Straits of Hormuz could be shut down or US interests in the region could be targeted?
Again, I think what we'll see is more of the same. I do think Iran will carry out a limited symbolic strike of US interest, but if it does, I have no doubt that President Trump and the United States will respond in full force, and that will probably be the last decision that the Iranian regime ever takes, as it is destroyed by the United States. I don't think that they will do that. Similarly, I think that if they take steps to disrupt global energy supplies, first of all, they will primarily harm themselves. I think that we will see a very large-scale American response, and Israel will continue. Israel intends to continue doing what it needs to do to dismantle and degrade the existential threats that Iran poses to Israel, whether that's nuclear or ballistic or its proxies. Israel will continue to do what needs to be done in partner with our greatest ally, the United States.
Has Israel been able to meet all its war goals, or will this war continue? Or is the ultimate aim a regime change in Iran, in your appreciation?
Israel's war goals, as is clearly defined, are to dismantle existential threats that Iran poses to Israel, whether ballistic or nuclear, and create the conditions for ensuring that Iran is never able to pose an existential threat again. Israel is well on its way towards accomplishing that goal. It hasn't accomplished them yet because, remember, we're only 9 days, 10 days into this operation. People are expecting what Israel's accomplished to date is incredible. But yes, it's going to take time. Iran is a major country, a significant military power. It's going to take time. Israel has not defined regime change as one of its war goals officially. On the other hand, I think it's clear to all of us that if we really do want to see a future of peace and prosperity and stability in the Middle East, we need a new, peaceful, moderate regime in Tehran, and not the radical ayatollahs that are now dominating and controlling what could be a great and wealthy and prosperous nation in Iran.